Om Shanti. This is the Avyakt Murli of 4th of May, 1983. And the title is To Have a Constant Stage by Constantly Following One Elevated Direction and One Path. Today, Bab Dada was smiling as he was having a heart-to-heart conversation with all the children. Smiling at what? All of you children challenge the world, saying that the inheritance of liberation and liberation in life can be attained in a second. You issue this challenge, do you not? You have experienced that each of you Brahmins received the gift of a divine intellect on your birthday. As soon as you were named a Brahmin, you received a godly gift of a divine intellect from Bap Dada. If you think on the basis of that divine intellect, knowledge is also of just a second, the creator and creation, alpha and beta. Yoga too is of a second. I belong to the Father, and the Father belongs to me. To become one with divine virtues is also a matter of a second, because as is your birth, as is your clan, so easily and automatically are your virtues. Since this is the godly clan, your virtues, that is, your dharna, will also be godly. The Brahmin birth is the highest and high birth, and so your dharna would also be elevated. So the dharna is also of a second. As the Father, so the children. Service is also of a second. To become experienced, to have all rights to the treasures, and to give the Father's introduction. It is an easy matter of just a second to give others what you have. So Bap Dada was saying that how you have been moving along for so long in something that is just a matter of a second, whether you are 2-month-old Brahmin or a Brahmin for a long time. To be a Brahmin means to claim the right to the inheritance in a second. Why do those who can receive all rights in a second become dependent? Is it that you don't know how to set yourself on the seat of your rights? Why do you get off your comfortable seat and sit on an unstable seat of restlessness? Why do you get off your seat so that you repeatedly have to make effort to get set on it again? As soon as you get off your seat, you lose the attainment of all powers. An elevated seat means to have the authority of having all rights by remaining set in your stage. How can you have authority when you have got off the seat? You get off the seat and then order your powers, and this is why they don't follow your orders. You then think that you are a master almighty authority, one with all powers, but that your powers are not working. Would a servant take orders from another servant or from the master? What does your face become then? Just as the face of someone weak is always pale because there is blood deficiency, similarly, the face of a weak soul becomes unhappy. He will listen to knowledge, do service, but unhappily. The power of happiness and the power of all attainments ends. A servant would always remain unhappy. What else is amusing about a soul who is like a servant? He would say that he is confused over trivial matters. When someone's eyes become weak, they sometimes see double or triple, and he becomes confused as to which is correct. In the same way, weak souls also look at other paths instead of just following the one path. They listen to many other dictates as well as the one Srimad. Then they think, should I do this or that? Is this accurate or is that accurate? Since there is only one path and one elevated direction, there is no question about whether to do this or that. Why would you not be confused? Since you yourself create two paths and create conflict in yourself. So, seeing this unique activity, Bapdada was smiling. Bapdada says, remain stable on your seat and you will remain constant and steady. However, those who are like mischievous children are used to going around constantly and saying that they got caught in the spin of Maya. There is no basis for becoming confused. However, you take the support of wasteful and weak thoughts. Since the basis is wasteful and weak, what would the result be? You would either become trapped, you would be dangling in between, or would fall down. Then you would cry out, Baba, I belong to you. Give me power. When you remain set on the seat, your seat will always have the canopy of protection of the rays of the power of the sun of knowledge. You get off the seat and build a wall of wasteful and weak thoughts. There isn't just one wasteful thought. In a second, from one wasteful thought, many other wasteful thoughts are created, and from those, many brick walls are constructed. This is why the rays of power of the sun of knowledge are unable to reach you. You then say that you are not receiving help or power, that you are unable to remain happy or stay in remembrance. How could you remember Baba then? Therefore, Baba was smiling as he was watching such games of the old and new ones. Why do you make something that is of just a second so difficult? Why do you let go of the one path in one direction and mix the dictates of your own mind and the dictates of others? Paths have been created through your own weaknesses. It happens like that all the time. Things go on like this all the time. You yourself create those paths and then become caught in the maze. You become distant from your destination. Why do you do this? Or do you think that it just happens? That you don't do it on purpose, but that it just happens? Why does it happen? Why does an illness come? By not taking the right precautions, or because of being weak? Or would you say that the illness too just comes by itself? Don't become weak or slack in following the precautions of the Maryadas, or step outside the line of the code of conduct. Are you going to continue these games even now? You are those with such an important occupation of world emperors, and yet you still play these childish games. For how much longer? The world is waiting for you messengers of peace to come. Our deities are about to come to give us blessings of peace. They are crying out loudly and ringing bells loudly. Sometimes they even beat drums, etc. They are calling out, "Come, come." If you deity souls still continue with your childish games, how would you hear their call? Therefore, listen to their call and have mercy on them. Do you understand what you have to do? Acha, the Father is concerned about the time now, even though you are not. To such constantly elevated, sensible souls, to those who constantly follow one direction and one path, to those who remain stable in a constant and steady stage, to those who remain powerful souls with the awareness of a second, to those who end the game of wasteful thoughts and become elevated servers for world benefit, to such great souls who are to become deity souls, Bapdada's love, remembrance, and namaste. Bapdada meeting Kumaris. To all of you Kumaris, consider yourselves to be Shiv Shaktis. Where do Shaktis always reside? They always remain with Shiva. Whomever you stay with, you would definitely be colored by their company. So whatever the Father's virtues are, and his task is, they would also be yours, would they not? The Father's task is service, and so all of you are servers, are you not? Whether you are already doing service or still have to do it, always have the aim of becoming equal to the Father. In every aspect, check whether it is the Father's act, his thought, or his words. If so, then continue to do it. If not, then change it, because you have performed ordinary actions for half the cycle. You now have to become equal to the Father. All of you are world servers, equal to the Father. Are you not? You are not limited. You have good courage. You are moving forward with courage and enthusiasm. Your zeal and enthusiasm will constantly enable you to move forward. Those who constantly maintain zeal and enthusiasm claim number one in every aspect. They would be number one in remembrance, knowledge, divine virtues, and service. Number one in everything. Are you like this? How can those who have number one zeal and enthusiasm stay at home? They would be free from bondage, would they not? Who are all of you? Are you caged birds or birds that are free? Are you caged in your studies or in the cage of your parents? How can those who are locked in such cages be said to be number one? Now become free from bondage. No one can do anything in front of powerful souls. Just as no one would come in front of an intense fire, but would instead run away from it, so you too should ignite the fire of yoga to such an extent that no one could come in front of you to create any bondage. When an animal has to be chased away, they light a fire. No animal would come in front of a fire. Similarly, intensify the fire of your deep love. If there are bondages even now, it means there is love, but that it hasn't become the form of fire. It is because you have love that you have arrived here. But When that becomes the fire of love, you will then become free from bondage. There should be deep love in a force. Shaktis come onto the field. Such a big group has come, and so you will definitely perform some wonders. If so many heads emerge, there would be great wonders. Acha, blessing. May you be a lawmaker and a new world maker by being lawful with yourself and all souls. Those who are lawful with themselves can become lawful towards others. Those who break the laws cannot use the law on others. Therefore, check that you are not breaking any laws in your thoughts, words, deeds, connections, and in cooperation with one another, and in service from morning till night. Those who are lawmakers cannot be lawbreakers. Those who are lawmakers at this time become peacemakers and makers of the new world. Slogan: while performing actions not to be influenced by them in a good or bad way is to become karmatit. Om Shanti.